All right, Padge, thanks to the kind folk over at Ubisoft Australia. They provided a review code for Immortals Fenyx Rising on PlayStation 5, so thank you so much to the guys over there. Padge, I'll ask you first, have you started playing this at all?
No.
Nothing at all.
I haven't got a code, I haven't got the game.
Okay, all right. So this will be fresh for you. I'm
keen. I've consumed a bit of stuff about it.
But look. Let me begin by saying, you're keen, huh? Let me begin by saying this. It is so much like Breath of the Wild. What's your response?
I know enough, but
okay.
There's no weapon degradation.
No weapon degradation.
I know there's still stamina, and that's my big question mark still on it. But everything else I'm okay with.
Yeah. So there are heavy facets lifted from Breath of the Wild that are placed. It draws a lot of inspiration from. What's surprising is it draws a lot of inspiration from Nintendo. And that's surprising in itself. You look at the game and you immediately, look at the cover art, basically you immediately think, oh, it's a Kid Icarus game. And then you play the game and it's like, oh, this is Breath of the Wild. But then when you play it and there are parts of it that remind you also of Assassin's Creed, Odyssey.
Yeah, the Ubisoftification of it.
Yeah. And it just makes it greater. So one of the best things about this game is that it doesn't take itself seriously. And its narrative progresses. The pacing is done fantastically. The way it's carried by the two narrators, by Prometheus and Zeus, who basically inject themselves into this lore, making themselves seem like big, bad, evil gods, but really they're two grumpy old farts telling a story about Phoenix saving the world. And it's really fascinating to see how they portray. First of all, the narrators, as in Prometheus, is more of the serious god, and Zeus is the baffling buffoon who just hates Prometheus talking about himself, and he basically tries to twist the story, and each time he twists the story, events kind of unfold within the game. They just make it out of nowhere, like there'll be things out of place, and you'd be like, what the fuck is this? And then yeah, I really love the fact that it really has kind of like that DreamWorks aesthetic to it as well. It very much
DreamWorks, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Pixar, I'd say more DreamWorks than Pixar. But the way it kind of plays, very much so a Breath of the Wild title or inspired title. We've talked about this in the past with like games like Genshin Impact that have drawn heavy inspiration from Breath of the Wild as well. The aesthetics are definitely there. Like there are definitely that cell shaded, but it's not entirely cell shaded. There, it's more detailed. But if anything, its environments just scream Breath of the Wild. Its gameplay is more of a hack and slasher than what it is anything else. So like there is no, like you said, there's no weapon degradation. So that's a major plus. The puzzles in the game are quite intuitive. It's one of those things where I really loved taking my time solving some of these puzzles. I don't want to speak too much about it because I'm still technically under strict embargo until release. But yeah. from what I can tell you is that whimsically traversing through this open world sandbox and using the wings to basically have that freedom to fly across this universe, and even just walking and facing encounters with different demons and everything else across this universe, across these lush and gorgeous plains that are put in front of me. I was astonished by how nice it looked, how captivating it was, how smooth it ran in performance mode, not quality mode, which I'm going to bring up in a second.
Fidelity mode? Yeah.
I think it was quality mode or fidelity mode.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it may have been quality mode, but I might be wrong. I hope I was right because I wrote quality mode in the review. But playing it in performance mode, I definitely do want to go back to quality mode because running it at 60 frames per second and as smooth as it was, I was like, man, it's gorgeous like this. I don't need to go to quality mode at all. It's kind of sad to say that. I would love for them to polish quality mode so that even if it runs at a locked 30 frames per second, I'd be more inclined to probably play it for its detail because I did kind of get a grasp of quality mode. I was advised not to play it in quality mode, but I couldn't help myself because it was right there, and you can look, but you can't touch. But it's like, no, I can look and I can touch. So I activated it and I went in, and it's a gorgeous. Oh yeah, gorgeous game, gorgeous in quality mode. Ran
frame rate.
Yeah. Just as bad as.
Maybe it's day one patch territory.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm hoping that day one they'll patch that, and then we get a locked 30 frame.
That's probably why they're trying to steer you away from it.
Well, that's the thing too. I believe that as well. And I've discussed this with somebody else who reviewed the title as well. I can't name them obviously, but they also said, but they're reviewing it for Xbox Series X.
Yep.
And they said that they experienced some hard crashes, and I was like, I played the game right through, played the campaign right through, no crashes whatsoever on the PlayStation 5. So there are some, like, it's a polarizing title in terms of its score. I've noticed that there are some 3s and 9s and 8s and 6s.
Yeah, and its Metacritic even is kind of, I mean, it's starting to settle, but it's starting to settle in the between 77 and I think 82 on the Xbox, which,
yeah,
as far as Zach's well-played Open Critic Challenge, long live the 82, because that's right on the dot for me.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be higher.
Yeah.
But obviously,
I mean, yeah, the little pocket of people, yourself included, that we were talking about it before the release made me think, okay, we're talking mid-80s, something like that, which was higher than I'd tipped only because it was a new IP, and we've kind of seen what's happened with Ubisoft games where they've gone to do that in recent years. You know, like Assassin's Creed improved out of sight with the sequel. Watch Dogs improved out of sight with the sequel.
Yeah.
We've seen these sorts of things, this pattern starting to develop with some of their titles where they put out a solid first release, but the growth comes in the sequel, and that may still happen here.
Yeah,
but I expected a lower score as a result. It's good to see that it's reviewing like it is, but there are some inconsistencies still.
So I personally think it's worthy of Game of the Year. That's where I've placed it. Giving it a 9.5 out of 10 obviously speaks highly for the title. The thing is,
Game of the Year nomination.
I'll say that. Yeah, Game of the Year nomination in consideration. That's what I said, in consideration for Game of the Year. So
yeah,
Game of the Year nomination.
Sorry, must have misheard you.
Yeah. I must have misspoke because I've been doing a lot of that lately. But in saying that, reviewing the game itself has been quite interesting to kind of follow this narrative of two gods going back and forth. And the reason I say that is because with Prometheus Delivery, I expected the title to kind of have that sincere take on it.
Yeah.
But it spun when Zeus came into the picture and basically interjected with his dialogue that turned it into a comedy. This is an action comedy. This is not something that you're going to dive into and take with, all sincerity at all. Like, it is an action comedy. So, and they've done it really well. So,
yeah, good to hear.
Kudos to Ubisoft, man. Kudos to Ubisoft.
Keen for the release on Thursday.
Correct. Yeah, so it comes out December 3rd. Make sure you pick up your copy on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and on PC.
And Switch.
Oh, and Switch.